The D-Day is here, and markets, which move based on triggers, have been patiently waiting ever since the exit poll day for the next trigger, which we know will go off today. To talk about markets, today we have with us Sonam Srivastava, founder and CEO at Wright Research. Welcome to the show, Sonam.
Thanks a lot for having me.
Sonam, so market has been range bound. The downward move, which tugged off a lot of small investors on exit poll day, the markets have recovered since then and are currently trading at a plus sum level. Some are seeing it as overheated, but without signs of exhaustion. What's your reading of the market?
See, I think, especially today, I think it's going to be a positive event, and the market has taken the clear mandate of the new government positively. FIIs are pumping in money. There are a lot of positive cues going around. I think today itself, the government is going to spend money somewhere or the other, be it consumption, be it infrastructure. See, there are pockets that are overvalued by a bit, like we've been hearing. But then there are pockets which are undervalued, for example, private banks, IT, pharma, and so many other segments in the economy. So I don't think the market as a whole is overheated, but yeah, I think there is some sector rotation that could happen.
Right. And looking at the setup, everything has opened in green. Nifty 50 with 59 points up. Of course, 9:15, the market will open for retail traders and everybody else. But looking at various indices, energy, bank, mid-cap 50, mid-cap 100, everything is anticipating positive things in the budget.
No, definitely. I think, from the budget earlier this year to now, I think the government has more money to spend, right? So I think some sort of investment is coming into the economy, be it on the consumption side, be it on the infrastructure side. And I think even the economic survey that came out yesterday was broadly positive. It was a little conservative on the growth estimates, and showed a good picture about the Indian economy. So I think budget for sure is going to be a positive event until unless there are some shockers, right?
Right. Steady as she goes was the headline of the chapter 1 of the economic survey, which was put out yesterday. And as you were mentioning earlier, the growth figure would you say it's tempered down because RBI's figure is higher than that? IMF and rating agencies like Moody's and Fitch have also mentioned figure which is higher than even the upper band of the growth figure presented by the CEA yesterday.
See, I think it's a conservative figure for sure. See, what we're seeing in the corporate earnings is that earnings are moderating for the corporate world. I think the global macroeconomic issues, slowdown in the global economy, definitely has had an impact on Indian growth. And I think if they have revised it downwards, it's not going to hurt us in any which ways. I think it's good to have a conservative estimate, and I think Indian economy seems to have formed a pattern where it keeps on beating the estimates. I think that is a better thing to do instead of aiming for bigger numbers. But yeah, I think there is a moderation that we are seeing, which is primarily because of the global issues, and we saw this happening in the earnings as well, right?
Right. And talking about sectors, because of course there are certain sectors which have been in focus for a while. There is infra, there is railways, there is of course the roads, etc. So, what sectors are you looking out for? What kind of cues are markets and players waiting for in the budget?
So it's going to be very interesting. See, there is a section of the market that believes that there could be a little bit of welfare spending, little bit of focus on consumption, focus on the rural markets, right? Because the government needs to focus there. That is the place where they did not get a lot of votes, right? So that's the math that people do. And I think that segment definitely needs focus. So stocks in the fertilizer segment have been getting a lot of uh, momentum
Yeah.
recently. You've seen stocks in the food segment, in the FMCG segment, they're getting attention. Even textiles, chemicals, have been getting attention. So there's a whole set of unrelated stocks, which have been undervalued, which are getting attention. But on the other hand, right, our buckets of defense, railways, roads that you talked about, they continue to be very, very strong. Right? Order books are massive and growing. They're getting more and more orders. So I don't see that sort of dampening in any which way. There could be some organic connection that happens on valuations. But yeah, I think if there is no focus on that segment in this budget, then that particular segment, right, which is the infrastructure bucket, could get an impact. So we have to watch out what is the focus that the government shows there, right? Along with it, I think the green energy segment always has attention in the budget, and I think it will continue to get that attention, and it will be that segment definitely has a lot of positives.
Right. And there's been this debate which has been going on about FNO. Of course, I mean, the markets are expecting some kind of announcement in the budget as well. SEBI chairman has spoken about it. Where do you stand on the debate?
So it's a very interesting thing. I am on the side which wants the market to be efficient by themselves, right? There is, if you look at the global markets, FNO lots are not massive. You can short any stock. The laws are much more easy to navigate, and the massive volumes in the market is more efficient. I understand the point that the economic survey even said that if we allow too much speculation too soon, then that can have an impact on the economy. Like we've seen in China, where there was a lot of speculation, even the credit side, that led to a lot of market correction. So I understand that point, but yeah, I think we should allow the market to do their thing with minimal checks and balances, right? So I think there has to be a fine balance there.
Right. And also the market, I mean, there are stocks which are trading at all-time highs at this point in time, because one of the strategies to make money in the markets is, of course, to sort of, buy low and sell high. But when most of the stocks are trading at all-time high levels, what would your advice be? Where should people invest their money? Even gold is, trading at an all-time high. So what would you tell investors? Would you ask them to wait it out, wait for the dip, or would you want them to get in, buy high and sell higher, perhaps?
See, I think you have to have a calculated approach. So, even, we're scared when you're looking at that bucket of green energy stocks or defense stocks or railway stocks, which are valued extremely high, but we still hold position in those. We still, have bought some of those stocks because, you have to look at the potential. You have to look at how the order books are building. What is the potential of growth for those stocks? If that looks positive, then you can take those bets, right? Buying high is not always wrong. We live in the Indian market where that has always worked for us, especially in the last 5 years, right? So I don't think that's the worst thing to do, but you have to be cautious and you have to watch out for what's happening in the company a little bit tightly in this particular market. But yeah, I think there are buckets which are undervalued as well. Like look at private banks, look at IT, which is having a resurgence. Look at FMCG, which is undervalued. Uh, Chemicals, which are getting attention, fertilizers, and also, yeah, there are buckets which are undervalued as well. But I would say that let's dump the stocks that are highly valued, right?
Right. And IT's case has been especially interesting considering the kind of pressure the sector was under, last year and the year before. But the kind
Mhm.
of results that we've seen, do show some sign of strength, right?
No, definitely. I think the results this time that came out from Infosys, TCS especially, have been extremely encouraging for the particular sector. I think people are seeing a clear sign of recovery for IT. We were all waiting for IT to recover, and I think we're seeing stronger signs right now. So it's a lot of positive for this particular segment. And I think large caps like Infosys and TCS would be good bets to sort of participate in this recovery rally, right?
Right. And before I let you go, last couple of questions. Talk to us a little bit about the challenges, because the economic survey, while putting out the tempered down bottom line GDP growth figure of 6.5 to 7%, also talks about certain risks and challenges. What, in your opinion, are these challenges?
So yeah, so like you rightly said, the economic survey had a lot of critiques for the economy. I think inclusive growth. We are working toward the Viksit Bharat initiative, but uh, making employment grow along with the corporate growth, passing on the benefits of, let's say, earning growth to the employees, to the public, making sure that the different segments, especially the rural segment, the consumption segment, is growing in line. Inflation on the food side is a concern, right? So there are a number of concerns. See, I think rural economy is definitely a worry for the Indian economy since COVID, and I think that aspect needs attention. And I think India definitely does have to find a fine balance in getting the rural economy back, maintaining the physical deficit, right? We are a emerging country. We don't have all the money to spend, so we have to maintain our fiscal balances. So that has to be a priority. And then, the emerging manufacturing and infrastructure segment also needs attention. So there's a lot of things that the government has to balance with this budget, and a lot of challenges that they definitely have to go through with, right?
Sure. And of course, which is why a lot of people are saying, and perhaps rightly so, that this budget's going to be a tightrope walk for the finance minister. Although, I mean, that makes you wonder, when was it ever not? In a country like India, the finance minister always has to sort of, strike balance between a lot of things. But having said that, if you had the finance minister's ear, what would you whisper into the finance minister's ear before she goes and presents the budget?
I would probably just tell her to not raise any of the taxes in the capital market. But yeah, but
Right.
apart from it, yeah, I think, like you said, she has a tough job to do. I'll just wish her a best of luck in balancing all these three critical parts, right? Consumption, infrastructure, and the fiscal prudence, right?
Right.
Yeah.
All right. On that note, thank you for taking out the time, Sonam. Thank you for talking to us.
Thanks a lot.